You're listening to 107.7 Stake FM.
Hey dude, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. Oh man, I was worried for a second because I don't know if you know this, we're in retrograde, and generally that has a weird effect on electronics. Are you familiar with that whole phenomenon?
What's retrograde? I don't know anything about that.
So it's like retrograde is a astrological phenomenon where if you're standing on Earth and looking at a planet, it appears to be going backwards in its orbit. And it's really not, but just because of that distortion, for whatever reason, it seems to, like, you know, if you believe in all that stuff, it sort of sends things into a frenzy, and communicating is hard and technology doesn't work and just throws things out of the loop for a little bit, but we seem like we're good. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. I appreciate you setting aside a little time. And my first question is, why start a label? You know, most people are like, I'm just going to start a band, you know, but a label sounds like you're just taking on all the complex, burdensome parts of the band without the fun part, you know?
Well, you know, you can't, well, there's the first part, which is like the most honest part, and that's because my music sucked too much for anybody else to take it up. That's the reason why, if you get to it, the reason why anybody starts a label is because, you know, the music isn't that good at first, but also there's you know, it's kind of hard to say to your parents, hey, I want to be a rock star. And they say, but if you say, you know, oh, if I start, I'm going to be starting a local, you know, like business type thing, and I'm going to be putting a lot of time into it, you know, there's that too. But another thing, the third reason I would say is I really do care about what's going on, like even here just in Buffalo, what's going on right now. I feel like disconnected from, I don't like to think of it as like a continuation of like any type of old, you know, punk or hardcore movement or any of that. Because I don't like to categorize like that. I just think the underground like art sort of scene thing going on in Buffalo right now is like really cool. And I just want somebody to be able to be there, to be able to document it like physically and you know, like give it the respect that it deserves. And I'm sort of that person too, like, you know, if there's a band I like, I know everything about them. I'm going to save up $1,000 to buy that 1977 Greek test pressing that like 100 copies of it were made from and everything. And if somebody like, let's say, I know, PETECHIA, if somebody like feels that way about that, I want to be able to be like, hey, I got this. I got a recording of their show from this time from like, you know, and here it is. And you can listen to it. I think that the archiving too is very important for me. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much gets lost to time, right? You know, there's whole eras of Buffalo music that I know nothing about, and we won't know anything about because there wasn't someone like you there to kind of archive it all and put it together. When did it all start for you, this whole thing?
Music started for me. The first thing I really got into was like punk or whatever as you could call it. I don't like to like associate with like that particularly now, but yeah, it was a real complete lifesaver. Like I had no direction at all. And then, you know, I'm like, you know what, fuck, I'm just going to do this. I picked up a guitar, I started a band or whatever. And the label sort of came in from starting a band. And yeah, I'm like, you know what? Like, I can do this. Like, I can just make CDs. I can make cassettes. Why not just make a fucking label? You know, I have a friend, you know, who has a new band. I can put them out and shit. You know, I can make up 50 CDs or whatever, beg my parents to give me $100 or so. You know, I can do that. Fuck it, why not? You know?
And what's strange is how few people actually do, though. You know, that's why it's a credit to you for having that drive to say, you know, I want to make something happen for the people that I care about and believe in, you know, and it's really, it kind of leads into this next idea of when you're a label, you sort of have two routes that you can take, and you can do a little bit of each. You can be fully a curator, you know, you can put things together for people in a sequence that maybe they haven't heard about and promote it. You could be a facilitator, which is like sacrificing all taste and just saying, you know, whoever's doing something and they're excited about it and they have a lot of energy, let's put them on the bill, let's get things going. So for Da Bomb Records, do you find yourself falling more to one side or the other, or are you kind of threading the needle?
It's a pure money pit. Like I do whatever I can to get money to just put out what really like that whole thing, like, wow, this band is like doing well or whatever. Like that may be coincidental with like, if, you know, let's say like a band like COMA, which I'm like interested in because that's really like, they're really good. They probably would be good if I were like to get to be able to work with them, because you know a lot of people I know say they're good, but it's also because I think they're good because they are. So if it happens to, you know, that a band I want to work with has something good that really needs like to be out there, but also is successful at the same time, that's neat, you know.
Do you find yourself like when you let's say this band, what were they called again?
COMA, the one I was talking about this week.
So would you find yourself like maybe approaching them to say, like the idea of being signed by a label is something that major labels have propagated as like a thing that happens. But on my level, I found that you never really sign a band. You help a band, you like, you know, you like a band and you say, come on in, let's see how we can work together. But do you find yourself sort of exclusively gaining, not rights, not licensing, but just like the ability to work with certain bands? Or is it more of a free flowing thing for you?
Oh, it's like whenever they want it, whenever they need it, you know. I do like the idea of having like a band I particularly like work with, as in like, you know, we got a thing going on, because you know, like you get used to them, they get used to you. Like PETECHIA with their second release EP or whatever. At first they're like, nah man, don't worry, we got it, you know, we don't want to like send you through all this trouble and everything. It's like, we'll get the CD release, we'll do that, don't worry. And I was like, okay, you know, sure, go ahead. But then they weren't able to do it, and so they just went back on me for that. And so usually you find they're like, yeah, you know, let's do that again. You know, if you do a good job, they're like, yeah, you know, let's do it again.
Yeah, that's sort of part of my question. My next question is like, how does your label help a band evolve beyond what they can do for themselves? You know, maybe you could tell me a little more about that situation where a band is like, oh yeah, we got this, but then it turns out that maybe they get tangled in a certain area where you have a little more expertise, or maybe even just a little more drive or the resources to complete, you know?
I'm willing to, I don't have like much on my own. It's just that I'm willing to like completely put myself into something, you know? Like I've come down in this basement at 9 a.m. and not left this basement until 9 p.m. I've done that before, you know, and I'm willing to 100% like, okay, you know, you're show ready, you got something out, I'm going to do literally everything. I'm going to like, I have set up like technically illegal shows with generators and stuff that have got busted by the cops, and like you no matter the risk, because I'm going to set up as many shows as I can for you. Don't worry, I got it. Like I will go fucking full in. If there's a band that deserves it, they're gonna fucking get it, you know. They're gonna get what they deserve. They're gonna get like the best shit I can get them, you know.
Totally. And so that's part of that's part of my curiosity, is when you're in this position where you have all these connections and you have these resources built, where to draw the line between, well, I really love this band, so I'm going to put it all on the line for them. Or, you know, I see that this band is doing something interesting, but it's not my taste at all. But still, I want to invest in them. And will you go as hard for the band that isn't really your personal taste, if they're a part of the community and like something that you know, have a sense of belief in?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to like make like a promise to somebody, like I'm going to be able to accomplish this, you know, for you, or, you know, you want this, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, 100%. But it is really based around like kind of my taste, which is very wide. Like I used to be somebody like, oh, you got to shave your head and wear leather jackets, and, you know, like I'm into punk and all that. But now I'm like, dude, I may like play punk rock type stuff, I may play grindcore type stuff, but I like the Grateful Dead, I like Black Sabbath, you know, these are because I'm really, if you want to know like if I like a band, it's just how well can you fucking jam, you know, like those are bands that just like can just fucking play, and their rhythm sections are so fucking tight. I don't know, I'm not particularly genre stricken that way, but yeah, mostly it's a personal taste thing, you know.
And I think that makes sense because of the amount of energy that it requires to really do these things. You got to have a little bit of fire inside for each person that you're working with. So that makes sense to me. How about like physical releases? Are you ever financing artists? I mean, that could be physical, or it could be like putting them on tour, you know, pre-pandemic, and then trying to recoup cost, or how does it work with the physical end of things for you?
Oh,
like, are you putting out albums or like vinyl or anything like that, or tapes?
Yeah, I do CDs and cassettes. like, we'll for like a big release or whatever, do 50 to 80 CDs and 20 to 40 cassettes or something. I can't do anything that big. I don't have that. Like, I can't do vinyl yet, really. But I feel like, with time, the way in which we were growing pre-COVID, like in the very small amount of time we exist, like from January to March, it was doing well. And when there was that 1 month where you could do shows again or whatever, I made like $60 to $80 or whatever doing merch at just one show. And so, I mean, it's really hard to like get a guess at where the growth is going to be heading or whatever, but like I plan, and I think it's just going to get, and that's what I believe would have happened if it wasn't for COVID. With physical releases, I do, full CD, cassettes, whole things, and I try to get a band as many shows as possible. Touring stuff is something that I haven't been able to do myself particularly even, but I think Muddle was talking about touring, and I did the cassette release for them. And so maybe if I end up working with them more and they finally decide to go out and tour whatever, then maybe I can get myself sort of out there,
Yes, I love Muddle. I'm glad you're bringing them up. They're one of the best.
You heard of them, right?
Yeah, that's true. And well, they have a new album coming out, so I think they worked with somebody else for that one. But I mean, they're like some of the best people around, not to mention they make really good music. So that's the best combination, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So when you do this CD cassette front, for the bands where you're basically pressing the album and then they sell it at the merch table, is there a percentage rolling back to you to cover the cost of what it took to put it out?
Oh yeah. I'm doing enough to make back, Yeah. I mean, I'm not really like a sustainable model for profit. It's not going to be something that's going to exist for a long, long time. And there's like,
no, it just doesn't exist. In music, it's like, how do you profit in music? Sounds like very far-fetched to me.
Mm-hmm. What I would do, like, other people have their own lives, so it's not really possible. But if I was in a band and I could like do what I wanted to, I would, practice 9 to 5 every single day, play at like a show every single day, tour for months on end. And I mean, then, you can like live. But yeah, even I think, like SST Records, I think their first time they actually made real profit was like 1985, which they actually made like decent profit. So, and that was after 6-7 years of existing. So I hope one day.
Yeah, it's good to hope, but it doesn't have to be the main outcome. It's really just, it's about a lot more than that, really.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about like making money for it. I just want to be able to continue. The only reason like I care about that is just so I can continue to have this happen.
Right. Just enough to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you introduce more, an ambition for more beyond that, it sort of corrupts the whole thing in a lot of ways. I've seen just so many people sort of point in the direction of trying to make a lot of money off of it, and it never seems to be authentic or genuine in a way where I want to interact with it. It feels like that is a corrupted process in the whole thing. And speaking of corrupted processes, the whole idea of marketing and promoting in 2021 is a complete mystery to me. And so that's why one of the things I'm most curious in talking to you, a young guy who's really getting started in this, is how do you get people to listen to music now when there's just so much available and like it's saturated with options?
Well, see, the thing is, I'm like a stickler for the past kind of in a way, though, too. The main way I like to promo is like, oh, well, you put out posters, like you put out, you play a shit ton of shows, you try to like advertise here and there. And so like the way in which I would like to advertise, I'd like to pretend it's 1980 and advertise, but really you probably get success. Like I see bands, like with like TikToks and stuff, making short little comedy sketches and stuff. And it does numbers like crazy. Yeah. Like the bassist in one of my bands that I'm in and is also on the label, God Told Me To, she has like 90,000 followers on TikTok. And for our first release, she's going to like promo it and stuff. And already from like the 3,000 followers she has on Instagram or whatever, she's already got like an insane amount of plays for the band. And I'm like, really?
That's what I've wondered about. Does it translates it? So I've seen like huge viewership numbers on like little promo videos, right? But translating into someone going beyond the video to their streaming service to listen to the actual album seems like a huge jump, like. And
then to a show. So what I think like what it has been and what the market will always prove to be and what you can always rely on, the housing market, of the music scene is shows. Just shows. Like, if you want to grow, if you want more people to know about it, if you want this, you want that, it's just shows. That's it. Just shows. And that's what it always will be. And, you know, and I think, like, you know, that stuff can support it or whatever. But if you really want, like, an actual, like, serious base, you know, that's what it is, I think, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the people that already have a built-in interest and would engage with that material are going to be at the shows, and if they're caught by something they like, you know, that's where it all sort of works out.
Like, it's part luck and it's part hard. Like, it's part luck, I would say, succeeding, but it's like also another 50% just like hard work and just being good. Like, if you're really fucking good, people are going to know about you.
Yeah, it seems like so simple, but it really is in some ways just really that simple. How about DIY? Does the label identify with that particular ethos, or is it a little bit more or less than that? How would you describe that?
I don't know, like, particularly like the description of like a DIY movement or whatever, but I guess it is. But at any opportunities to work with a bigger label or something, or to be able to get into more of a like sort of thing like that, I would, 100%, you know, because I'm not going to subscribe to some sort of ethic and that take away from the ability to have like a sick ass like vinyl release or something.
Yeah, good point. If somebody's going to give you money to make the dream happen, you can't just resist it based on like an ethos, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have like, I don't know, let's say fucking, I don't know, Warner Bros or whatever says, hey, I really like your shit for some reason. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm a fucking nihilist. Shut up, big capitalist pigs.
Yeah, well,
fuck that.
I think the breaking point would be if they came in and said, we like it, but you've got to dress this way and you've got to work with these people and you got to like change who you are.
Fuck that though.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck yourself,
Yeah, so there's a line between the two, but that makes sense. How about so with you just put out an album recently that was a sampler, I believe, right? I don't know if that was the most recent release, but it was like Buffalo Underground.
Oh, the comp.
Yeah. And so how did you go about putting that together? And tell me a little bit about some of the bands that you chose to be on that sampler.
Oh, yeah, the thing is, because I didn't want to like handle having to hand out like profit or whatever to all these different people, because it's also like broken up bands and everything. I just all went to charity. I didn't make any money off of it. All of it is going to my friend, who is then my friend is gonna help me find out like the right stuff, because I don't know about these social causes and all that type of thing too much, but my friend's gonna help, and yeah, it's gonna all go to that. But the bands were all just bands on the label mostly, but also stuff that you know, like people I asked, I got this recording, can I please put this on here? And they're like, yeah, sure. You know?
The thing that really stood out to me about that compilation is that a lot of those bands are, well, you said that some of them are broken up and some of them are not a thing anymore, but most of them were bands that I had not heard of yet, that were kind of maybe getting started, or you know, like with having a year without shows, it's been really hard to stay connected to who's doing what and what's happening. But that's why I really appreciated the sampler so much, because it was like I got to open the door to the scene again and see what was going on. And so out of the people that are still functional on that list, who would you say you're excited about?
Oh, well, I think I really enjoyed World of Fire, and I got the new World of Fire release out now for their proper EP. I put Endless Night on there. I'm hopefully, you know, something comes of that. But shit, oh my god, that many bands are dead that are on that. Wait, I'm gonna pull up the list right now.
Yeah, let's check it out. See who survived. So when you put this together, these were all tracks that were made before quarantine, or was it right up until pretty much when you released it?
No, a lot of these are made during quarantine. Okay. Yeah, so World on Fire, great shit. Got the new EP. I really like it. Of course I do. I put it out. What the fuck? What am I saying? God Told Me To. That's one of my bands. Like one of my two personal bands. I'm we've been practicing. We're able to play 4 songs so far, and I really fucking like what we're getting to now. You know, compared to those 2 songs, like we're gonna be like compared to the 2 things that were put on the comp. When we get to fucking play, dude, it's gonna be pretty fucking tight, pretty unique too. Some of the shit that I don't know if I can say their name, the guitarist has been making, I really fucking like. But Willem from PETECHIA, always doing cool shit. I don't know if he's gonna continue with PETECHIA in particular, or if there's gonna be some new type of project. But 771, and PETECHIA, those 2 projects, anything that Willem does is always fucking cool. That's like, no matter how much he hates everything he ever does. Hopefully, CRACKHEAD KNIFEFIGHT is a band that I think is dead, but I mean, I want more noise bands because I like to listen to scary school shooter music. Because I don't know what's wrong with my brain. I actually like that stuff. CRACKHEAD KNIFEFIGHT. Hopefully, there's a possibility though they actually may reform. I'll talk to Chris about it though. But that's only if like Willem wants to do like shows with his noise project. And if he does, yeah, let's do a fucking noise bill. Because when has that ever happened here? Never.
Oh, there's actually a huge noise scene here. Maybe you haven't met Jesse Kaufman?
There's a fucking dude.
Jesse Kaufman organized this incredible festival. Well, one was actually in city limits, and then one was outside of city limits. 3 days of all noise acts, like harsh, huge, heavy hitting stuff. So I'll definitely put you in touch with him. He's amazing. He's like one of the best people operating in Buffalo right now.
I'm working with two noise bands now, kind of. Wow, dude, it's so weird. I remember do you know like Lost Connections or Scathed or that sort of scene in those bands?
No, I don't think so. What sort of genre are we talking?
That was the first local Buffalo music I ever got into. It was sort of a mix of like pop punk / kind of rock, like to punk rock sort of in a weird way.
Scathed, you said? And
I would say more Lost Connections is more that way. Scathed was like more directly punk rock type stuff, but they played in the same circuit and scene. Those are only 2 bands in that whole scene that I really liked, but Scathed were fucking if you've really never heard of like Scathed, really?
Well, I was gonna say I've heard of Scathed, but I don't know if I know their music really. I just know their name from being around here.
They're fucking great. The guys in Muddle fucking love them, and that's good because they deserve it, because they were an amazing band, and sad to see that they're gone now. But yeah, I will cherish every single time I ever got to see them live. And Lost Connections too was sort of part of that whole thing, and their song, especially Taking My Time. They're in a new band. But both of these bands have traveled on to new bands, Ashford for Lost Connections and Trick Room Band for Scathed, respectively. But yeah, Lost Connections, especially with the song Taking My Time, I fucking love that song. But I remember I was particularly into that because I didn't know anything else existed in Buffalo. I didn't know there was even like kind of the weird 90s hardcore stuff. I didn't even know that existed. Yeah. So shit, really, there's a noise scene? Fuck.
Well, isn't that just like a part of a bigger issue where so many scenes operate independently of each other, and it's really important to find a way to sort of thread them and unify this whole thing? And that's part of what I've been like really looking to do with conversations like this, even where, there are ways we can help each other in big ways, and especially once things come back online. Yeah. And speaking of that, what are you seeing as, we get to the end of summer and into fall and things start to really loosen up and everyone's vaccinated and all that? What's coming next in a big way for Da Bomb Records?
World conquest? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Just like doing more and more and more. Hopefully, I can get to work with more people and all that stuff. Just exponential growth is the idea. And hopefully by then, my main band, I have 2 bands right now. God Told Me To and Nihilist Untouched, which you will not find anything about. You'll not find any music out or whatever about it. But from what I have recorded, it's kind of like my dream super group that I'm sort of trying to build right now. It's going to be like a 5-piece. I'm going to be on guitar. There's going to be another guitar, bass, drums. The drummer I'm working with, he's probably the second best drummer in all of Buffalo. And he will say, nah, man, I'm shit, but he's fucking great. The bassist and the drummer have been playing with each other since they were 5. So I'm just very excited about what I'm going to be able to do with that. Hopefully, when we get to play shows, it's going to be something I'm actually going to be able to be like really proud of,
Yeah.
World conquest.
Is there any band right now that you have your eye on that you want to get onto your next bill? Or is there a show type situation where you want to put these particular artists together that you've been thinking about? Right now, there's so much you can dream about, but there isn't shit you can do. So it's like I've had a lot of ideas, but nowhere to put them yet, you know?
Yeah, I totally am 100% into mixed bills. I don't like the idea of like, oh, well, this is a punk show, or this is a pop, this is a hardcore show, this is like a whatever show. Because, you know, my band, like the one I'm going to be doing with now is Untouched, we're going to be going from like 6-minute doom metal songs to 2-minute Ramones type punk songs to 8-minute long instrumental like jazz weird fuck jams. And so like I think the idea of seeing like a sort of mixed thing between like some hardcore punk type bands and bands like you worked with Pizza Donuts, right?
Yeah.
I fucking love Pizza Donuts. If I can see like them and Cheap Peach together with like They Live and PETECHIA, like a bill like that with some like 2 really fucking heavy bands and 2 bands like that, you can space it out so you can have like a not so heavy band, then heavy band, not so heavy, and then heavy band. And so like it kind of pace out the show too. That'd be really fucking cool. Like seeing a mix like that.
It's weird that hasn't really been accepted as the way to do it, because a lot of times you see very genre specific bills and you get 4 bands that sound almost like the same band. And then you've alienated a lot of people that have a diverse range of taste that might stumble in and be like, oh, I just discovered that I like this. You know, no one likes one genre only. Everybody has like a little bit of a range. And then if you put those acts together, it's like the network just expands exponentially that way. I think that's important.
Yeah, there's like punk rocker types could be some of the most fascistic minded people. Like, and I don't mean like to generalize or anything, you know, but like if a lot of people, especially like any type of scene people really, can be really like closed-minded about other types of stuff, you know? And so, yeah, but I think the reason why too is I would think like, well, why aren't people doing shows like this? Like, why isn't this happening? And it's just because nobody else has done it, you know? Like, if I have anything I can say to everybody, if you're wondering, well, why isn't there mixed bill shows? It's just because like nobody's like really, just because nobody's just done it. Just fucking do it, you know? It's just because like I would always be like, well, what is this what does this person have to say? Well, they haven't said anything, so nothing must be going on. No, it's just because they're not like, you know, these other like scene elder god type people are not on mission and they're not like gods. The reason why I think like if something isn't going on, if you feel like things are kind of stale at the moment, it's up to you, and you can just stand up and just fucking make something then. Like you can well, I'm gonna like rent a moose lodge or whatever, and I'm just gonna like put up a bunch of fucking bands or whatever, and we're gonna just do this thing. And so the second that like this whole COVID's over and it's back to normal, that whole thing happens or whatever, I want to like just set up shows completely devoid of any of the old like these old dinosaur people in music. You know, we got to start a new thing. It's the 2020s in Buffalo. That's all it is. It's nothing else. I want any old restraints. We got to fucking do a new thing now.
Well, I will say I'm one of those dinosaurs, so don't cut me out all the way. But I am here to help because I do believe exactly what you're saying, which is that there has to be room for new people to come in and do their thing. And that's part of this disconnection between some of the scenes. And as a lot of people age out and people age in, yeah, there's got to be room for everybody to.
I meant like, yeah, but I was trying to be like, I tried to mean like mental dinosaurs, like people who are stuck
yeah,
in the 80s and want to keep it that way.
Right.
Want to keep it like the 90s. And it's like, you know what? It's it's a new thing. Let's do something new, you know?
Yeah, totally agree. Well, awesome, man. I really appreciate this conversation. Like, it's really cool to get to see, you know, Buffalo through your eyes and how it's all coming together, and also really inspiring to see your energy surrounding this whole thing and just believing in it and willing to make it happen. So is there anything else you want to go over before we sort of close it up?
You know what? I was 15 when I started this label. I'm 16 now, and I'm glad I got this interview so I can look back like 10 years later and go, oh God, I said that. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It was so cringy. Oh my God.
Ted, so, you know, we're very much the same as far as being an archivist. Like I hate that feeling and love that feeling. I want to be able to look back and see the change, you know? And so that's why I love this stuff.
Like, also you can be like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Got to start somewhere, you know?
Yeah, right now in February, yeah. So we do have like some stuff coming. There's gonna be like a 3-way grind, weird noise split thing I'm working on. There's gonna maybe be like an official release for God Told Me To. So we're thinking about going for a full album straight off the bat. That's gonna be a while from now, but really in February, I think everybody in Buffalo right now is like, it's 9 degrees and I just feel horrendous. Like everybody, like, he'll be like, hey, what's going on? I'd be like, what? You know? So I feel like right now people aren't in the mood. We're in a Buffalo winter kind of, but I have sort of like a plan for the rest of the year. And I think if it goes well, I'm going to be really fucking busy. So
right on, man. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this. Thanks for being sort of the inaugural guest. You know, I really appreciate it, and good luck. And if you need help with anything along the way, please hit me up.
All right. Nice. Yeah.
Ted, thanks, man. I really appreciate talking to you.
All right. Bye.